Hey, let's talk about lessons we learned in the 1980s. Stick around. Hi, welcome to the Gen X Reference Desk. I recently received this comment when I was talking about how awesome the song "Ladies' Night" is by Kool and the Gang, and if you were a female or if you identified as female, it's an awesome song. Well, I received this comment. Thank you for your comment. I'm assuming that if you saw my content is that you probably grew up in the 80s. And I find it very hard that for a generation who grew up in the 80s, that we have problems with how people identify themselves or pronouns or ways that we can address one another because essentially, like, this was our decade. Okay, and it started with Kiss in the 70s, full makeup, glam. I mean, and we're literally in glam rock. I mean, women were going nuts over Poison. We're going nuts over Frank Farina. Oh, I'm sorry. You mean Nikki Sixx? Because that's how he identifies himself, as Nikki Sixx. Or Saul Hudson, when he's like slaying that axe, or no, slash. Prince changed his name to this. Listen, it didn't matter if he was called Prince or the artist formerly known as. That man in purple lame, lace, and 6-inch heels wanted to have his way with me. I would be like, let's go. If Yorgos Peniatou wants to be called George Michael, I don't care because his voice was still the same and still amazing. When Reginald Dwight was on the Muppets, it made the Muppets more colorful. If Raphael Edward Cruz wants to be called Ted, okay. If Robert Ritchie wants to be called Kid Rock, okay, cool. I don't understand why we have problems with how people identify themselves. How many people do we know that were living in the closet? How many people do we know that made choices in the closet? And how many people do we know that were harmed, who were injured, who were bullied? And this is what we want to continue doing? Come on now. Listen, I saw my grandfather bury his wife, didn't know where his brother was at the funeral, and that was because of my beloved uncle. He had gone to a popular gay hangout, and he had picked up somebody who my grandfather had to go to the hospital and identify my uncle because nobody knew who he was. And when a friend of mine came out to me because he was gay and he didn't know what to do, so I go seek the person I thought who was knowledgeable, and I speak with my youth leader, and he's like, you need to make sure he gets right with Christ because he's sinning. And I realized, yeah, maybe I can't trust this person over here, and I'm going to have to trust that which is inside. We were a generation that saw thousands because of the AIDS epidemic. How much better would life have been if we were more accepting and understanding and empathetic? That's what I took out of the 1980s, is the power of empathy. And that's where I'm going for my future. Come here. I'm almost done. Come here. I know. You sit right there. The older I get, the more the song Under Pressure just really gets into the marrow of my soul. And it just seems to say, that is what it's all about. To me, it's almost like a hymn. And every time they get to this one part, I always cry. Because to me, it's like, that is truth. And that is what we're here for. In the words of David Jones and Farouk Balsara, love is such an old-fashioned word. And love dares you to care for the people on the edge of the night. And love dares you to change our way of caring about ourselves. This is our last dance. This is our last dance. This is ourselves under pressure. And that's what it's all about. It's about love. And in the words of John Lennon, I hope someday you'll join us where the world can live as one. Peace and love, y'all.